What a moment. I see a lot of beautiful smiles in the crowd, and truly, this is what commencement is about. The occasion, of course, but more importantly, the people you're with and the joy that they bring. I want to thank everyone for sharing the radiance with us today. I especially want to thank our distinguished faculty and staff, families and friends, but most importantly, the class of 2025. And could we give it up for Shark one more time? Shark, you've done so much for our class, homie G, so I'm happy we're able to commemorate you in this small way through our acknowledgement and applause. Commencement will live forever immortalized in our hearts. The sound of names being called, the weight of a gown on our shoulders, the way the air feels, thick with endings and beginnings. As we walk across the stage, wearing gowns stitched with late nights, caps carrying the weight of lessons learned, and hearts filled with pride, it's tempting to see commencement as the culmination of our efforts alone. But we know better. We know that the road to commencement was built, brick, by countless others. And so, I want to commemorate some of our loved ones who paved the way for us to be here. To the faculty who planted questions like seeds and trusted us to bloom in our own time, you gave us language, guidance, and conviction. Our achievements bear your fingerprints. To the parents who crossed oceans and borders while carrying burdens we'll never fully understand, thank you for every mile. Thank you for every sacrifice. Thank you for every dream carried on your back so we could chase ours. To the mothers who traded dreams for duty, who worked double shifts, missed sleep, and still somehow made miracles stretch, your love built this stage, and today we walk it in your honor. I want to recognize my mom in particular. She's probably a bit confused by now, and not because I'm somehow graduating, but because I didn't tell my family I'd be speaking at commencement today. So knowing her, she's probably resisting the urge to jump up and yell, Hada Abni, meaning that's my son in Arabic. While we soak in the joy of today and honor our loved ones, it's easy to forget those whose labor made this journey possible. Indeed, many of us relished in the beauty of Marston Quad and enjoyed the convenience of the dining halls, but seldom paused to acknowledge those working behind the scenes. As such, I want to recognize the invisible hands that moved quietly through our time at Pomona, shaping the background of our lives in ways we didn't always see, but always felt. I'd like to thank the mail services staff who connected us to the world outside while we created worlds inside here. I'm grateful for the housekeeping and ground staff who keep the spaces we lived and learned in clean and beautiful. Thank you to the workers at the dining halls and the coop fountain who nourished us day after day, and not just with food, but with a familiarity and kindness that makes this campus feel like home. And I want to recognize our librarians who remind us that learning is a shared endeavor by offering us not just books, but the guidance to help us think more deeply and imagine more boldly. Their names may not appear in programs or on podiums, but their labor built the foundation of our college journeys. So let's honor them, and not just now in words, but in how we see, respect, and support them beyond this day. Remember when your Lord proclaimed, "If you are grateful, I will certainly give you more." Surah Ibrahim, verse 7. Today is filled with gratitude, and gratitude, when deeply felt, widens our view. It anchors us in this moment, yes, but it also compels us to look outward, to notice who is missing, and to question why. Gratitude reminds us that our celebrations are inseparable from the struggles that persist around us, and it calls on us to carry both joy alongside responsibility as we step beyond the gates into what comes next. Because when we widen our view, we begin to see not only those sitting beside us, but also those who should have been here. It's through that widened perspective one shaped by gratitude and awareness, that I urge us to acknowledge and honor my friends, Daniel Velasquez and Francisco Villaseñor. Their voices were cut short, their presence suspended under the gavels of retribution, and today they are fiercely missed. And not just as individuals, but as essential threads in the fabric of our class. Who helped sow spirit and solidarity into our communities. It's through the courage of my friends here, and indeed my peers around the world, that I find the inspiration to pay tribute to another absence that weighs deeply upon my soul, especially on a day of joy like this. The absence of the class of 2025 in Gaza. The class that could have stood where we stand. The class that could have worn caps, gowns, and tassels. The class that could have heard their names called. The class that could have hugged their mothers in the crowd. The class that could have texted their friends, like a Najahna, we made it. Could have planned their futures, applied for jobs, written poems, fallen in love. Their futures were stolen, but their hope wasn't. Because hope is not delicate. Hope is stubborn. Hope is rebellious. Hope blooms and grows between cracked concrete. Hope lives in the hearts of people who have lost everything and still find ways to sing. I've seen it. I've heard it. In prayers rising past blockade walls and lullabies sung beneath shattered ceilings, I've seen children chase light and streets turn to dust, families sharing bread as if it were a feast. I've seen eyes that have witnessed despair still soften for a joke, still shine when speaking of tomorrow. So what Gaza taught me is this: even in darkness, people dream. Even under siege, people love. Even with nothing else left to give, people laugh, people dance, people hold each other, even when the world turns away. And that's what matters. Not the titles, not the trophies, not the job offers, not the commencement speech. When all of this is gone, and one day it will be, what will remain is not how high you climbed, but how you lifted those who could not walk beside you. Not how loudly your name was called, but how deeply you listened to those who weren't handed the mic. Not how flawless your path to the top was, but how boldly you loved those who propelled you there. We are graduating into a world that feels unsteady and sometimes cruel. The world bursts with questions we cannot yet answer. How can we create change? Who will we become in the face of adversity? Can we truly make a difference? Many of us want to forge a better future for this world, but we don't know where to start. But what the class of 2025 in Gaza taught me, and indeed what the class of 2025 at Pomona reaffirmed for me, is that the way we change the world around us isn't always through grand gestures. It's in the everyday. It's in walking with a friend who's had a long day. It's in remembering their birthday, showing up to their recitals. It's in friends like Dante, who laughed at me through the chaos of college, the same chaos that Al-Sheikh embraced beside me over roundtable talks, group dinners, and Union Station. And when everything felt like too much, there was Lucy, who saved me a seat at her family dinners where the food tasted like comfort itself, and where I saw that sometimes care for others looks like a seat saved at a crowded table. That same warmth stretched across continents with Peter and me, whose friendships held steady over distance and time. When time became heavy, Aaron and Rebecca were there in the classroom, learning history beside me that sometimes felt too heavy, but always became lighter with coffee and laughter afterwards. Over that coffee sat Nikki, who called me Fares Jan, the Jan, wrapping itself around my name like warmth, teaching me that friendship might sound different across cultures, but it feels the same no matter where you are. Endearment like that was woven into banter with Brad, Caleb, Jaha, and Paulson, their humor showing up when I needed it most, and from the rhythm of their laughter and Afrobeats music, I was touched by the contours of their spirits. And in the quiet after the laughter came Sebastian, once a name behind a door, now the kind of friend who stays, even when everything else gets packed away. We found meaning in the most ordinary moments of our daily lives at Pomona. When the plates at Frank Brunch are cleared, but no one clears the table. When it's 4 a.m. in Herwood, yet no one goes to bed. These acts won't make headlines, but they build the foundation of hope that hold us up when everything else feels fragile. It's these experiences that kept me going throughout college. When the world feels overwhelming and nothing seems to make a difference, I come back to these memories. I remember what it feels like to be seen and held in community, and that's what pushes me to keep showing up. Not because I think I can change everything, but because I've seen how the smallest actions can carry the weight of something much bigger. I felt what it means to be held up by the people around me, and I choose to carry that love forward through my presence and my kindness. Class of 2025, as you step beyond these gates, carry forward a soft revolution, one built upon the ordinary day-to-day acts of care that stitch us together, the kind of revolution that lives through checking in on a friend, walking someone home at night, or bringing them their favorite snack. These are not dramatic displays of struggle, but they are the foundation of real community, the daily deliberate choice to love, especially when it would be easier not to. Wherever you go next, whether it's across oceans or just around the corner, know that these small occasions still matter. They push back against a world that tells us to move faster, feel less, and look out only for ourselves. These acts are a quiet labor of love, a kind of everyday resistance to the numbing pull of apathy. Let them be your light when the road ahead feels uncertain, because they are more than ordinary moments. They are proof that another way of being is possible. Congratulations, class of 2025. I'm proud of us. May love be our soft revolution, and may we find the courage to care again and again. Thank you.